Should Georgia fans be worried about Carson Beck? That's what I'm going to talk about in today's video. Of course, Georgia's quarterback is coming off not his best game, right? I think that's safe to say, against Kentucky and Georgia's 13-12 victory. But Kirby Smart had a lot to say about Carson Beck and the Georgia offense after the game. I'm going to talk about Carson's game. I'm going to talk about, if there's anything to worry about during his first kind of road game of the season. He was really good against Clemson, 23 for 33, 278 yards, 2 touchdowns, made some plays with his legs. Tennessee Tech, that game doesn't matter. I know he threw for 5 touchdown passes, but it wasn't always great against Kentucky, but he still showed NFL arm talent and why he is still one of the best quarterbacks in college football. But here's what Kirby Smart had to say right after the game. He said, well, Carson's a great leader. He didn't panic. He made plays when he had to. Look, the last drive of the game, he had to go play and make tough throws. He did. He ran the ball. He put us in the right place. He's a really good football player, and that we have a lot to, that we put a lot on and asked to do a lot. We've got to do a better job protecting him. We've got to do better in different situations. We got to put him better in situations. I'm sorry. A lot to read there, but he said it wasn't all on Carson Beck, and he's right. Mike Bobo's got to do a better job. The offensive line has to do a better job. That was a complete total offensive effort, and not a good one, obviously. But he went on to say, hey, the best friend you have on the road in those environments is the run game. And when you don't run the ball, you have to be dang good at something else. And it was not pretty in the first half against Kentucky, but things started to change because of Carson Beck. And I want to start talking about the first drive of that third quarter. There was 9:03 left in the third. This was Georgia's first drive and only complete drive of the third quarter. They didn't have the ball much going into this drive. Georgia was down 25-10 in time of possession. They didn't have the ball much. That's what happens when you have quick drives. You don't have it. But they got the second half start off to a good one. Right before that drive, Kirby got into his guys. He was on the sidelines. He was emotional. He was getting after him, saying, hey, we got to get some points here. We got to get this rolling. First play, Carson Beck misses a wide open Dylan Bell down the sideline, or in the middle of the field, actually. It was down the field, not on the sideline. There was a lot of room to run. Should have been a touchdown. That was bad Carson Beck, and we saw a little bit of bad Carson Beck, but we also saw a decent bit of good Carson Beck. That next play, there was a really nice ball, again, down the middle of the field to Dom Lovett. He got hit pretty hard there, but he stood in the pocket. He was firm, and he delivered a ball with really nice touch to Dom Lovett. First down, right? So he misses a wide open touchdown deep down the field. He comes back with a big time throw to Dom Lovett. The next play, bad perimeter blocking on a swing pass to Frazier. Then a Dylan Fairchild false start. It's 2nd and 20. And then we see more good Carson Beck, right? He delivers an NFL ball, probably the best ball he threw of the game. Just an absolute rope to Dylan Bell. And if you watch him, that was peak Carson Beck. He's in the pocket, but he's playing with balanced feet. He's looking through. I think this was either the second or third progression. But once he sees it, because he knows he's running out of time, he's about to get hit, and it was not his first read. He didn't like the first one. I don't think he liked the second one, and he got eyes on Dylan Bell, and he was covered. It was great coverage, and he steps up and delivers an absolute laser over the middle, tough grab, great throw for 20 yards. Boom, 2nd and 20, 20-yard rope, first down. And that's when you're starting to think, okay, this is starting to, get going a little bit. This is the chemistry we've seen. That's that rocket throw that we've seen Carson make from, 15 to 25 yards down the field. That was a fantastic ball. He hit a quick pass to Oscar for 5 yards. Etienne went for 2 yards on a read option. So it's 3rd and 4. Throws a great back shoulder ball to Colby Young, for, I believe, 13 yards. So he's got 3 really, really nice passes on this drive alone. Gets them down close to the end zone. They get to a 3rd and 7. Doesn't find anyone open. He kind of throws it at the feet of Etienne there. A little frantic, but he didn't find anyone open. Kind of escaped the pocket a little bit, and it wasn't a great play call there. I think they should have probably schemed something a little easier to get done, because that obviously didn't work. They settled for a field goal. But then the next drive, right, they got the offense moving. And that's what I'm trying to say. And then they scored a touchdown on the next drive. He completed 3 passes on that touchdown drive. And then, so Georgia's got the lead. You're feeling good. The next time they get the ball, though, we see a little bit more of bad Carson Beck. second to last drive. He has an 8-yard run, and so I believe it was 2nd and 2, and then he's in shotgun and he drops the ball. Georgia was only up 1, I believe. I think this was, it's still 13-12 at this time. They're backed up inside their own 30, and he just drops the ball. Unexcusable. You can't do that at any point in the game, much less you're just up 1 back in your own territory, middle of the fourth quarter. I think there was only 6 or 7 minutes left. Trevor Etienne falls on it, but then you've got 3rd and long. It's incomplete to Oscar on the next play, and they're punting. And then it was that was a drive where Georgia could have really ended the game. They march down the field, kick a field goal or score a touchdown, and then it is over. That's a wrap. But it was a 3 and out. They give the ball right back. And that's where if you have a Heisman Trophy caliber quarterback, you can't be dropping the ball like that. And when the game is on the line and you got to move the chains, you have to be at your very best. And they have to be at their very best if they are going to go into Tuscaloosa and win that game. So that drive they punt, but they do get the ball back, one final drive. And that's where he made probably his best throw, second best throw of the day to Dom Lovett. And again, it was classic Carson Beck. I believe it's 2nd and 10, 2nd and 9. And then it was play action from under center, which I like to see. Carson Beck running the read option, he's not that type of quarterback. And I think they run it often, but how many times is he the one, reading the defensive end and he pulls it and takes it off? Usually when Carson scrambles, it is a pass. He's looking for someone and no one's there. So he has to kind of improvise and take off and use his natural kind of athleticism and quickness on his own. But there aren't a lot of times from what I've gathered where he is taking that ball like Stetson used to. I mean, Stetson had that type of speed and those instincts, so that's why I like to see him more under center, play action. There was plenty of time to throw, but he kind of took 2 steps to his left, bounced, and then threw another rocket kind of down the field to Dom Lovett, hit him in stride. And, it was a classic Carson Beck throw. And that's when you're like, okay, there it is. He's got to be great more consistently. And I talked about that in another video. There's a lot of really good players on the Georgia offense, but it starts with Carson Beck and the guys up front. They have to do a better job. Carson Beck has to do another job. And to answer the point, the Georgia fans should not be worried, but he's going to have to start playing his best. There's no doubt about that. But it is a little worrisome to see some of these, some of those throws on the road in that environment. Kirby talked about how communication was something they've got to improve on. He said communication would be one thing we have to improve offensively. When you look back at the game, there were some major communication errors that they're talking about across up front and communicating who we're working to, points and things like that, which some of that has to do with being on the road and crowd noise and environment, on everyone being on the same page. Protection of the quarterback on some pressures are really easy pickups. So he said he's got to be able to hit some open guys. There were times where he was just a little bit off. The ball was a little too in front, a little too behind him, and he was missing some guys. There was a swing pass, I think, to Etienne late in the ball game that went for a first down, but it looked like there were guys kind of open further down the field. It just seemed like he was a little hesitant to let it rip like he normally does. But Georgia fans shouldn't be worried, but he's got to play better. You could say that. He's got to play better than he did against Kentucky and be the type of Beck that we saw flashes of during the game. And I thought he was really good against Clemson. Looked like that quarterback that we talked about all offseason. Really nice game. Followed up with a good one against Tennessee Tech. First road environment, first road test of the season. Wasn't always great. Very up and down. And it's only going to get more difficult going to Alabama, in Tuscaloosa, going to Oxford, going to Austin, Texas, right? So while I don't think Georgia fans should be concerned or worried about Carson Beck, it's clear he's got to play better than he did against Kentucky. Those communication issues have to be on point. He's got to be more in chemistry or in a rhythm with his receivers. Every once in a while, it just doesn't seem like they're on the same page when things fall incomplete and it's on his first read, So, again, it's going to be tough. These are really, really tough road environments, but he's an experienced quarterback. This is an experienced offensive line. This is a group of receivers who have played a lot of football. So overall, there's a lot of veteran experienced players who have played in big road environments on this offense. They've got to do a better job. They've got to execute the game plan a little bit. Mike Bobo has to come up with a game plan that not only will work, but will be a little easy to execute on the road in a tough environment. So we'll see how it works. But, not the best we've seen out of Carson Beck, but I do not think that it's anything to truly worry about. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something. You can read all this and more over on Dog Post. I'll see you over on the website.